What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans stand up, and today I want to talk about Saahdiq Charles, not Saahdiqa, who we're all familiar with in the Cowboys community, but Saahdiq Charles. Now, he was drafted in the 2020 draft by the Washington Commanders out of LSU, and overall, I can kind of see why he was a fourth-round pick, because when you look at the guard position, he definitely has that body type. So he has the guard height, he has the weight being around 322, he has the arm length for a guard, head and size of the guard, right? Good solid mass. You can see right here in the film, the calves are thick, pause if you want to. So he has that guard mold, but I feel like when it comes to his play, it's a whole different conversation. Now, he does have some athleticism. I like him more laterally than I like him moving vertically, and we'll definitely talk about that here in the film. But there's some upside potential when it comes to Saahdiq Charles, but when it comes to Dallas Cowboys, and I feel like the way that they've been handling this offseason, they're finding molds of clay. So he's only about, 23, 24 years old. So he's still a young player with some upside potential. I mean, hell, that's younger than Luke Schoonmaker. So I think the Cowboys are drafting in free agency, if you will. So there's going to be some potential that you're going to have to coach up, but let's go ahead and get into the film. So in the very first play right here, you'll see him at left guard. Now, he has some left guard / right guard abilities, played both sides, but he's had some injuries, some concussions, some knee injuries, so hasn't played much in his career, to be honest with you guys. But you'll see him lined up at left guard. Good lateral step. Boom. Good hand placement. But the thing that I don't see when it comes to him is just that drive, just to be on the drive defenders off the line of scrimmage. So he has a good initial step, laterally, boom, hands, boom, pad level, not bad, right? You're under the defender's face mask, so overall not bad there. But are you able to drive your feet? Are you able to drive your feet and move this guy? And he's chopping, he's moving a little bit. Now, he's going to get chucked right here, so I think number 8 probably could have hit this hole if he would have held on just a little bit longer. But overall, good play in the run game when it comes to picking up this defensive tackle. But like I said, me personally, I like to see him play a little bit more force, a little bit more pop, right? And there's some guards that a lot of people are talking about in this upcoming draft, whether that's Booker, list goes on and on, that plays with a little bit more force, but overall good reps. Now, when you watch him lined up here at the guard position as well, the one thing I'll kind of see is that even though he has good processing, sometimes picking up stunts, he gets a little lackluster, to be honest with you guys. So you'll see right here, lined up at the left guard spot. Now, boom, you have big 95s. That's Q Williams right there. Okay, now you have my dog and Jermaine Johnson looping around. You got to get up off of it and pick this up, right? But he's still kind of holding on, right? Even though this center is he's kind of lost. So he's peeking on Q, he's peeking on, Jermaine, like not really knowing where to get his eyes and where to get back to and where to get the help. And you see, though, there's the pressure right there on the quarterback. So I would like to see him process a little bit better when it comes to picking up stunts. All right, what you going to do? Are you going to stay on? Or are you going to get off, right? You got to make a decision, but it looks like he was kind of indecisive there. Me personally, I'll probably just focus on Q and let Jermaine be Jermaine. Though I love Jermaine, that's one of my nose, right? But if you're peeking, you're coming off of it, then come help. Come help him, bro. Like, come help him right there. And it's like, I want to help, but I can't help because I'm getting beat, and it causes the pressure on the quarterback. So you'll see that constantly in his film. I think when it comes to the processing, this needs to be a whole lot better. Combo blocking, overall little duo right here. So being able to move, he's peeking at this linebacker. Get off of it. Good force right there, right? So that's a good rep. Just watching him full speed, get off of it, bang, right? Running back just doesn't pick the proper hole. But overall, that is a good rep for Saahdiq right there. And I like that force. I like this pop right here. Bang. You know what I'm saying? Be physical, be violent. If you follow me on Twitter this morning, I was talking about playing football and being violent. So you kind of want to see just unleash that nasty streak because he has the size, right? And I think when it comes to this Cowboys, off season, they're finding guys and they're putting a whole lot of trust in our coaching staff. So maybe, our new offensive line coach can bring that dog out of them, because I like this pop coming off this combo, get him to this linebacker, bam, right there. Overall, good rep. Running back just couldn't find the hole. All right. Now, on this play right here, you'll see him lined up once again at left guard. This is versus us. This is back when the Commanders didn't have a quarterback, back when life was simple. So you'll see him picking up right there on 97. Who was 97 back then? I don't remember, right? So overall, once again, getting kind of olayed. Now, are you going to pick up this edge rusher right here? So if you're sliding right, if you're sliding left, and I think this is Fowler over here. Okay, then you need to slide, engage this defensive tackle, and then have this number 63, who is your center, kick over and make that cover. But what happens is, okay, you kind of get olayed right there. Your center sliding over. Okay, if you're going to help on the outside, then help on the outside. But who is the closest threat when it comes to the game of football, right? The straight line is always the nearest threat versus the edge, right? So if this is sealed here, why are you sliding and double teaming here, right? Because this is sealed. You got one-on-one right here. So it's just simple. If anyone should be in space and kind of just free roaming, it should be the center right here. But, that's probably on the offensive scheme or the play call. So I'm not going to put that all on Saahdiq. But overall, boom, okay, swam. So help right here then. If you're going to help, let's help. I'm not going to help. Kind of turning, kind of getting lost, and the pressure gets on the quarterback. Salute to Dan Quinn, when he was actually a Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. We know he was able to get pressure. So just some of those things you kind of notice just needs to get sharper mentally for me personally. But like I said, I do see the upside potential when it comes to his size. On this play right here, just a simple pull. But once again, you see that pop. Now, I love this pop. Now, watch him once again. Lateral movement. Get lateral movement for this pull. Now, he kind of gets washed out just a little bit in the crowd, right? Gets washed a little bit, but that's his, his own offensive line getting pushed back in his lap. But even with that, being able to keep his eyes up and locate and get up to the second level and get that good pop, right? Now, that's probably I think that's a corner right there, right? So, don't take that with a grain of salt, y'all. He wasn't the linebacker, but still, right? Get his eyes up, play with that physicality, initial pop. So overall, good rep there. And then last play right here, lined up down in the red zone versus the Dallas Cowboys. And just once again, just not being able to recognize what is going on. So bam. Here comes the stunt, right? Here comes the stunt. Here comes the stunt. But he's lunging, leaning forward, which leaves that end around right there, 97, bang, pressure to flush outside the pocket. So just being able to pick up some of these things, I think that's going to be an area of focus. Like I said, overall, he has the size, right? He does play with some pop, but athletically and mentally, there's going to be a lot of work, but hopefully the Dallas Cowboys can coach him up. I think he's just going to be a rotational guard. I think he's going to be more suited in zone, which I think the Dallas Cowboys want to get to doing a lot more zone schemes. So I think that's where he's going to naturally fit. So he has some athleticism, some horizontal lateral movement, but overall, it's still going to be a work in progress. So for those of you who are saying the Dallas Cowboys need to draft the offensive guard, I mean, I could be petty and say we're good, right? Because I still believe in Brock Hoffman and also TJ Bass. But, overall, I think this is just a good camp body rotational, and we'll see how it all shapes out, man. So it's your boy J Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe. If you love draft content, in the right spot. If you love film sessions for the Cowboys, you're in the right spot. If you love just talking football, you're in the right spot. So turn on that notification bell and make sure you do not miss out, and follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and we still need to draft some weapons. Peace.